Hello everyone and welcome back to another review. So today I have the new Genesis by Singaporean microbrand Revere. Now Revere is a relatively new Singaporean microbrand. This is a Genesis and by the time you see this video it should already be on Kickstarter. Revere is a homegrown effort founded by three Singaporean young adults who were dissatisfied with the affordable watches that they saw on the market. They didn't see anything that would interest them and therefore they decided to come out with something affordable but also eye-catching, and here we have the Revere Genesis, or at least the prototype of it. Now let's start by taking a look at the specifications of the watch. Let me tell you the price first, right? A Revere Genesis is 220 USD or just under 300 Singapore dollars. And for that price point, the Genesis has pretty good specifications for the price. So you get a flat sapphire crystal with 100 meters of water resistance rating. As compared to most watches, even fashion watches, right? At this price point, they mainly have mineral crystal. The Revere Genesis has sapphire crystal, so that's a plus in itself. The 100 meters of water resistance rating means that you can wear this in practically any situation that doesn't involve prolonged water immersion. Now, the Genesis is powered by the Seiko NH38 movement, which is the open heart, time-only variant of the ubiquitous Seiko NH35. So Revere tells me that they've consciously chosen to use this NH38 because of its time-only feature. They didn't want, because the dial is no date, right? They didn't want that ghost position that you might have when you use NH35. Although there is no open heart window on the dial. So some quick specifications: the movement beats at 21,600 Hz vibrations per hour, beats per hour, has 42 hours of power reserve, contains 24 jewels, and is hacking. Now I'm a big fan of your Seiko NH movements. I greatly prefer it to the Miyota 8 series. And yeah, I think at this price point, the Seiko NH movements is as reliable as they come. And I should also mention there's engraved rotor as well, which is not something that you see on most watches at this price point. Now the strap that I have here on the prototype is like a leather rubber hybrid, and frankly speaking is quite terrible. Revere tells me that they're currently sourcing for a nice supplier for black calf straps, so hopefully that turns out well. But at the end of the day, the fact remains that unfortunately I cannot comment on the quality of the strap that comes on your eventual production model, if this does fun, of course. But again, at this price point, 220 USD, 300 Singapore dollars, just I don't think you can really expect it to have like a quality strap. Just get your own aftermarket strap, like a nice Halloween leather strap that costs $30 or so from Nomad Watchworks would pair, I think, very nicely with the Revere Genesis, or a Kevlar strap for that matter. Now the Genesis does come with Swiss BGW9 Super Luminova, which is a nice surprise given its price point. I'll just pop out a lume shot here. Now, although this is not the strongest lume that I've seen as compared to your dive watches and such, the hands and indices glow a nice pleasant icy blue, and you should have no issues telling time in the darkness with this watch. So all in all, I think it has very strong specifications for the price point. There's sapphire crystal, there's a reliable NH8 movement, there's Swiss Super Luminova. You can't really knock it. The only question mark is the eventual strap, but again, at the price point, just get your own aftermarket strap. Now, let's talk about the design of the watch, which obviously is the main draw, right? Now, the Genesis is unique in the sense that even though it is at a more affordable price point, it actually uses two types of carbon. So one, let me bring this closer to the camera. There you go. So the Revere Genesis actually, has a carbon fiber dial that shimmers. Look at that. It plays very well with the light. Shimmers in the light, you can see how eye-catching it is at a certain lighting angles. So carbon fiber, is a material that's commonly used in automotive world. You see it on some of your hot horology watches as well. Your Hublot, Richard Mille, Tag Heuer, racing watches especially. However, at this price point, the price point of those aforementioned watches are prohibitive, and at this price point, I don't really think you can really find much carbon fiber dials out there. So I think Revere has succeeded in their mission, which is to use some of their more exotic materials but in a more affordable package. There's also applied indices, again reminiscent of your baton indices and your Rolex Datejust, your Rolex Oyster Perpetual, and it adds depth to an otherwise flat dial. There's a nice red second hands as well, which adds a pop of sporty color to again an otherwise monochrome design. Now, I've given my feedback to the Revere team. I mentioned that the hands are a bit too thin, the bezels a bit too thin, more to that later, but they've actually gotten back to me just before I recorded this video that they've made certain changes. I'll talk about that at the end of the video. Okay, so intriguingly, the Genesis possesses a sandwich case. So, it has a forged carbon mid case that is sandwiched between a steel bezel as well as a steel case back. It's definitely an interesting concept. Again, one that's inspired by its more expensive counterparts. Here, your forged carbon mid case and your forged carbon lux adds to the exotic, sporty feel of the watch, while the stainless steel bezel is a nice striking juxtaposition. The bezel features 4 screws, but which is more of a nod undoubtedly to the iconic Audemars Piguet's Royal Oak. However, due to the thin profile of the bezel, the screws are rather tiny, and in my opinion, the watch would be better off either without your screws or just having a thicker bezel with your beefier screws. I would also like to see like a higher level of polishing, and something that feedback to the Revere team, and they said the production models will feature a higher level of satin brush vertical brushing. Now on the side we get a stainless steel crown with that sign the Revere logo. This on this prototype, is a push-pull crown. So you push it out, you push it in. There you go. But according to Revere, on the production model, this will be changed a screw-down crown, which was a suggestion I gave to them, and I'm glad they took it up. The crown shape has also been altered slightly to become a bit wider and a bit thinner in thickness, so it sticks out less as compared to what it is now. So good to see Revere making some changes to the current iteration of the prototype. I think that goes to show that they're constantly trying to refine their design and make improvements on it. Now, let me just put this on the wrist and show you guys how it wears. Alright, there you go. So Revere Genesis has a 41mm wide specifications. It is 11mm thick and has lug-to-lug length of 48mm. So it's actually quite slim and quite small proportions as compared to some of the watches that are its inspiration. You think your Hublot Big for example, or your Tag Heuer Carrera, right? It's actually very wearable on my 7-inch wrist, as you guys can see here. And I found no issues, no pairing with a suit or with a dress shirt. It slits easily under a shirt cuff. So yeah, I'm glad that despite its sporty racing like inspirations, it's actually very wearable. It doesn't come across as ostentatious or unwieldy, unlike most sports watches. Alright, like I mentioned earlier, Revere has indicated to me that I'll be making some changes to the design of the watch. So I just pop up a diagram that they sent me to indicate the changes. So as compared to the prototype you see here, the words automatic will be printed on instead of applied. The Revere brand name would be excluded. There will only be a logo. And the hands, thank God, the hands will be thicker, the markers will be thicker, as well as there will be a printed minute track as well. I think all these are very good inclusion and changes to the Revere Genesis. Alright, so in conclusion, I think Revere has a diamond in the rough with the Genesis. Is it perfect? No. There are certain areas for the brand to work on, but I think as of now, I'm heartened by how the brand has consciously been able to make improvements to the design. Like I said, I've given them multiple feedbacks about the prototype, and I'm glad to see they have taken some of my feedback to heart and they have changed the design accordingly. So I do think there's enough here at the moment, and with the feedback and the changes that's upcoming, to make the Genesis a compelling watch. The specs of the watch are great. The carbon fiber dial, look at that, how it shimmers in the light. The carbon fiber dial is striking, and the usage of your forged carbon with its unique texture makes it a very compelling watch at this price point. There's not really another watch that has such exotic materials that I can think of, an automatic one at this price point. Now, the founders of Revere, their goal was to develop an affordable watch that can capture the sporty, exciting look of your Hublot, your Richard Mille, your Tag Heuer watches. And I think in this regard, they succeeded in packaging it in an affordable price point. At the very least, it is not another generic affordable dive watch on Kickstarter. So if you're interested in this, the Revere Genesis, you can support the Kickstarter project. It's currently live. The early bird pricing is $220 USD, or about 294 Singapore dollars, and I think it's a great price point considering the specifications on this watch as well as its usage of carbon in both the dial and the case. Now I like to see how the final production model turns out, but at this price point, I think it's a project that is worth supporting. At the end of the day, I think that the Revere Genesis is a strong maiden attempt by Revere, and I think this could be a great launching pad for Revere's future models. And alright, that concludes my review for today. If you like this video, do give it a thumbs up. Do subscribe to the channel and share the video around. As always, I'll see you guys in my next video.